Hello and welcome to another episode of my Facts and Glitches series, where I continue to showcase more of what I've learned about GTA 5 in my almost 14,000 hours of playing the game and from my awesome viewers. If you shoot the pilot of a helicopter, it spirals out of control while making a screeching sound. Oddly, this same spiral and sound happens when you shoot the pilot of a blimp, and it's doubly strange considering that the game's code classes the blimp as a plane. When customizing a weapon, the extended clip attachment gives the weapon a bigger magazine that can hold more ammo. The term clip being used to describe the attachment is technically incorrect. A clip is a metal piece used to hold a few rounds together and is usually fed into an internal magazine. Therefore, it is the magazine that holds the rounds, and it is this that we're upgrading in the game. So it really should be called extended magazine attachment. On the mission Long Stretch, we are greeted by Aunt Denise reinvigorating her femininity with Magenta.
Magenta is reinvigorating my femininity, so make yourself scarce, boy, go.
Cut content in the game's files shows that Magenta was actually going to play a bigger role in the game, and there is one interaction between Franklin and Aunt Denise that is still in the game that may have led into this content. After the hotel assassination, Franklin moves to his new house in Vinewood Hills.
Man, are you serious?
Sometime later, Aunt Denise discovers that he moved out and emails him to express her anger. Part of her message says, "I've been to the desert to get certified as a pelvic floor exercise instructor. What if I want to put a woman's art center in the home? What if I want to start running pelvic floor classes myself there?" Franklin replies, "My dear aunt, don't do anything with the home I half own. Don't put no classes there. Don't do no pelvic floor extensions there." The starting of these classes by Aunt Denise may have been the plot thread that led into the cut Magenta missions, but sadly that didn't happen, so she remains a character we only see once during Long Stretch.
You ought to be clenching your motherfucking vagina muscles with my aunt, nigga.
With the release of the Contract DLC in GTA Online, Franklin and Lamar can be found smoking together inside the studio. One conversation between them confirms that in present day, Denise is still alive and is still living at Franklin's old house, which she presumably still half owns with him.
I was at your auntie house the other day, my nigga, and I gotta say, man, old girl can fuck some cornbread up. I swear, my nigga, she still got it. She still got it, dog.
F, is that your auntie?
Yeah, thank God I missed her crazy ass. She's spirit walking this shit now, man. That's just her attempts to...
Hey, don't be talking shit about your auntie, man. She got it.
Lamar, what the fuck you doing over there?
She a loyal customer.
Aunt Denise.
Look, dog, it was strictly medicinal. It wasn't no going on.
Man, fuck you.
Keep in mind that it has been heavily suggested that Aunt Denise and Lamar got together in the past. In fact, it's stated explicitly if Franklin talks to the psychic on her website. A close friend of yours, they're in bed, oh it's beautiful. Not Lamar. Exactly, that's it, in your house, where you grew up, in your bed, all the time. In fact, while he's hanging out with Trevor and Franklin, Lamar seems to imply that he loves Aunt Denise.
Hey, Elf, what's up with your auntie, man? She's none of your goddamn business. Stay away from her, dog, please. It makes my stomach turn.
You ain't got no soul, nigga.
And you ain't got no standards, nigga.
Love ain't a test of standards. It ain't an exam, nigga. Love don't know about ages. Ain't that right, T?
Absolutely. Personally, I find women my age are too immature to really get me.
You too? My man.
I've always found that. Ever since I was abandoned.
Hey, man, we've all had bad childhoods. And ain't none of us saints. But the serious cougar thing? Man, it ain't normal.
Shit, who the fuck wants to be normal?
Exactly.
In the Franklin trailer that Rockstar released for GTA 5, Aunt Denise has a very different appearance to what we see in the released game. She has different green earrings, wears glasses, and even has a green hoodie. This attire can still be found in the game's files, and it suggests that Denise may originally have been envisioned as being more involved in the gang life. She is certainly repping gang colors, which she doesn't do in the release version. At the very least, she and Lamar both affirm that they think gangs are positive.
Now I'ma call the police.
For what?
Disloyalty, boy.
Disloyalty? What is you talking about?
Don't act like you don't know what it is, homeboy. Yo, you ain't been to the set, ain't came to none of the meetings.
Hanging out with old men, ignoring your homies, acting all superior? Your mama would turn over in her grave, boy.
So you giving me a lecture about not being a good enough gangbanger?
Gangs is positive. That's all we got, my nigga. That's our heritage.
Inside Denise's Lifeinvader page, there's multiple posts of her complaining about Franklin. One in particular has her mention that she never gets a second date with a guy she invites over for coffee when Franklin walks in. Coffee is obviously a euphemism for sex, and this post is likely a reference to the controversial mod for GTA San Andreas called Hot Coffee. This mod brings back a cut minigame where the player can control CJ while he's having sex with one of his girlfriends after a date. Did you know that you can kill Aunt Denise? If she is lying on the sofa or doing exercises in the living room in Franklin's old house, this can be achieved by shooting a rocket or throwing an explosive at the right front window. Whichever character kills her receives an angry message from her demanding payment for a hospital bill and gets $5,000 deducted from their accounts. This is true for Michael, despite that he doesn't know her at all, and Trevor, who only met her once.
Is this $7?
I said something nice, not expensive.
As I'm Australian, I find it interesting that there are multiple Australians in the American state of San Andreas. This includes Jeff Chartier, who is a helicopter pilot in Los Santos that can be seen in Franklin's Strangers and Freaks missions given by Dom and during the parachuting minigames.
Okay, Jeff, round 2. Set her up. Roger that, buddy. You sure you're okay? That last one was fucking insane.
Hey, look who it is! Mr. Conservative! As it's you, I'm gonna take us up extra high.
There's also Tiana, who is an Epsilonist who is seen at the Epsilon building in single player and in GTA Online during Dax's Fooligan job at the Epsilon weed farm. She actually has no voice lines, we only know she's Australian because a website states that's the case. And lastly, Brendan Darcy, who is the captain of GTA Online's Galaxy Super Yacht.
My dad keeps asking me when I'll get a real job, but I say it's too late for me now.
GTA Online's game files show that the Autogyro, a weaponized gyroplane, was intended to be released in the game, but was cut. We know this because the code to handle its explosions, handling, engine, vehicle weapons, and its unique vehicle type were created for us. It was intended to have an explosive turret and rockets, similar to the Savage. Unfortunately, that is the only information we have about the vehicle, however there is a mod which recreates how the vehicle could have possibly looked. On the side of the Avisa Submarine, there is a number displaying the maximum depth the submarine may reach before it's destroyed, which is 2,000 meters. However, in reality, it can only endure a tiny fraction of this before being crushed by the pressure, which is a measly 180 meters or around 590 feet below sea level. This range matches all other submarines in the game, meaning the decal is merely decorative. The fire axe is a melee weapon that was planned to be in GTA 5, but was removed before its release. Despite this, its model is still used in the game. It can be seen in Michael's garage, but it's purely decorative and can't be picked up or used. It can also be seen during the firefighter approach to the Bureau raid, when Michael uses it to open a locked door inside the burning building. Based on how Michael holds it, the fire axe was intended to be a double-handed weapon, like the baseball bat or golf club. The reason why Rockstar decided to remove it is unknown. On the mission Hood Safari, there is an Easter egg that is easily missed. When the player enters Grove Street, there are 3 men on BMX bicycles leaving the neighborhood. If you look closely, you can see that they resemble CJ, Sweet, and Ryder from GTA San Andreas, where the 3 characters get to the hood on bicycles after a drive-by attack by the Ballers.
We gotta get back to the hood, man. It's too crazy around here.
When you use your vehicle's horn multiple times near NPCs, they tend to get provoked or run off. Strangely, this effect can also be seen when you press the horn button while on a bike as well, despite that it doesn't even have a bell.
Bitch ass!
You mind?
In GTA 5, the main characters can see their cash transactions on their bank's website. Each has an account with a different bank. Bank of Liberty for Trevor, Maze Bank for Michael, and Fleecer Bank for Franklin. If a character opens a bank's website for which they have no account, the error username unrecognized is displayed. Unlike our characters in GTA Online, which can cash money in and out of their bank account, effectively having both physical and digital money, in single player there's only one total money amount, it doesn't distinguish between the two. As an aside, our characters online use the same bank as Michael, which is Maze Bank. Backlot City is the name of the area where Solomon Rich's business is. Early in the game, any character that enters this gated area receives a 2-star wanted level, and the security guards will begin shooting. Upon completing the mission Blitzplay, specifically Michael is able to enter the area without resistance,
Hey, bro.
so that he can start the mission Mr. Richards.
How about I hook you up with Solomon Richards?
Hello.
Once this mission is completed, Trevor then is also able to enter the area without resistance.
Why, oh why do you exist?
For Franklin, on the other hand, it isn't until much later in the game, with the completion of the mission Battle of Rocco, that he gets this privilege.
Hey, how you doing?
I suspect Michael becoming a movie producer in the mission is what gives Franklin access.
Feels like I've finally done something with my life.
Although I can't really think of a reason why the mission Mr. Richards would remove the restrictions for Trevor. Maybe in some cut content Trevor was going to have some business at the movie studio. Things are of course very different in GTA Online, as our characters are always able to enter this area without any consequences. The Bahama Mama's West Club has a fully modeled interior, despite it normally being inaccessible. We can however glitch inside to see it. The easiest way is to set up a buffered ledge grab on the plants beside the club, drive to the back of the building, and finish the buffered ledge grab in the parking lot with the car.
Yo, what's up, man?
The club is completely finished, with furniture, lighting, and animations, so I'm not sure why it was never used. The best we get is being able to hear music from the club between the hours of 8:30 PM and 5:30 AM. One hint that this club was intended to be used is the Bahama Mamas t-shirt that was given to players who logged in during the Sunday Drivers Week in 2016. It is suspected that the club was going to be included in a later GTA Online update, as the place is perfectly suitable for any kind of mission, but for unknown reasons, this didn't happen. The Bale trailer is a fairly strange unused asset in GTA 5. Upon first glance, you'd think you've seen it somewhere before, but it doesn't naturally spawn anywhere, nor can it be acquired in any other way except by using mods. According to the game's files, the only vehicle that can tow it is the Fieldmaster. It seems justified as to why it was never used, since it's pretty useless, slow, and easy to tumble, unless you want to roleplay as a farmer. They certainly could have just used it as a background asset though.
Now go!
So that's the end of the episode. Thank you for watching. If you think you know of anything that would be of interest to this series, feel free to add it to my Discord. I hope you're all doing well.